everybody, and welcome back to Two Mates and a Mic. Very, very exciting. The episodes just keep flying through and through and through. Last week we did our top 10 musicals, which were voted for by you. But to start this podcast off, Toby, we've had a bit of backlash from actually no reason of our fault really, because it was a group top 10.
Yeah,
but we've had some feedback from the podcast.
We have, yeah. So we've had a bit of, like you said, David, we've had a little bit of backlash about that podcast through no fault of our own. The first one, actually, I'm not going to lie, the first one was through my fault. I hold my hands up and say that one completely on me. Is we forgot Dan. I say we, it's completely me. I forgot Dan. Dan the man. So let's give him a quick shout out on this one so he doesn't feel left out again. But Dan, we love you. You are a true mate of this podcast. So yeah, big shout out to Dan.
We love you, Dan.
And the other one is David. You got a bit of backlash on some of your choices. And I haven't actually told you this. We were me and Ian at work were talking about this today.
Oh.
He was saying how much he obviously loves the podcast, and big shout out to Ian as well for
Ian.
listening. So Ian messaged us and was like, I can't believe that someone doesn't have Hamilton in their top 10. He was shocked. Not only that, he was more shocked that you had Grease in there over Hamilton.
Yeah.
So, huh?
I'll take it, mate. I've said before, I think Hamilton's a brilliant spectacle. I think it's fantastic. I think it's revolutionary. But it's not my favourite. And Grease is. And Grease made me fall in love with musical theatre. And so that's why. And do you know what? I'll take it all. Because if I'm being honest, when I sat through Hamilton, I was ready for it to end. Whereas other musicals, I'm not ready for it to end. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that was the backlash we had. We've done the admin of all of the addressing any negativity around here. We don't deal with negativity on this podcast, only positivity.
Positivity. Speaking of positivity, how's your week been?
Do you know what, mate? It's been really good. Even better, I'm now on Easter holidays for 2 weeks.
I am
off for 2 weeks. Funnily enough, I'm still going to be working, doing my quizzes and karaokes. But yeah, we are. I'm now off for 2 weeks for Easter half term, and on Tuesday we're going for our wedding menu tasting.
Oh,
yeah, which is exciting. So there's lots of things going on over Easter, which is really exciting. One of those being the menu tasting for the wedding. So
that's a big step, mate. That's a big step.
Big step. So all things a go. But yeah, buzzing for it to be Easter.
2 weeks, mate. 2 weeks off.
2 weeks. Oh, honestly, they say teacher burnout is like real at times, but I felt it this half term. It said it's the shortest half term, but it's felt like the longest. Really has. And if there are any people in education, any teachers listening, if you agree with me, drop it in the comments if you felt like this has been one of the longest half terms, even though it's been the shortest. But yeah, how about you? How's your week been?
Do you know what, mate? I've had a blinding week. So I was working at the start of the week. Did the show with actually my boss watching for the first time, like live watching for the first time.
Yeah.
So that was a big responsibility, and he thoroughly enjoyed it. He liked it. He said he was happy. I've still got my job, so that's a positive. And my beautiful mum came and watched as well.
Oh, so nice.
It's always a nice moment when your mum's in the audience and things like that. And she's very, very happy, very, very proud of what I've done and how I'm going on to do. So bless her. So shout out mum, who still watches the podcast, but doesn't know how to subscribe. So I'm going to pretend that we have one more subscriber than we actually do, just because she can't subscribe.
She's a subscriber at heart. She's
a subscriber at heart. It's literally that. And actually, speaking of wedding, we've had quite a few bits of wedding stuff we've done this week.
Nice.
I don't know. I think you've done some of these, but we had our notice of marriage that we had to do.
Yes, love a notice of marriage. It's one of those, isn't it? notice of marriage is it feels like you're having a quiz taken as to whether you can get married. Like it's that little final tick box of, ooh. But I do sometimes feel like there's a lot of like, people think it's this massive quiz about,
Yeah.
you know, do you know your other half? And if you don't know them as well as you do. But all it is them asking you a couple of questions and that's it really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's no favourite colours or anything like that, because
No.
there's some people I would go, how on earth did you pass the test to get married?
Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue. Because most of the time
And,
it's in one ear and out the other, isn't it?
It so is. It so is. I love it. But yeah, so I was like, right, you can go first, and then she went in, did the whole thing, and then she was in there ages, and I was like, this might be detailed, and then she comes out, and I go, is it easy? And she was like, no, and I was like, what? So I literally went in, and yeah, it's easy. It's just date of births and, you know, job, like what job do you do?
I suppose job's easy for you because job's easy for the both of you to answer, isn't it?
Yeah, we do the same job. Do you know what it is as well? Do you know what the best thing about this? And this is for like people that are still like, I mean, we've got actually a question about it like later on, but it's plot twist of what's coming in the podcast.
Spoilers.
But it's spoilers. But obviously I work for the animal guys, so does Hazel, and it's the most fascinating job to describe, because when you describe it, people still don't realise like actually what the job is. And it's basically a live animal show with no live animals. And when you tell that to people, they go, but what does that mean? Like puppets and things like that? And you go, no, it's so much more. It's so much more than just and because when you say puppets, a lot of people just straight away think hand puppets.
Yeah.
It's so much bigger and so much cleverer and so much more visual than just your stereotypical show. So whenever we go somewhere and we tell people what we do, it's the fascination that actually people are trying to work out what it is from what you're describing. But it's the hardest job, like to describe what it is. But yeah, so we did that. And then we went for this place where you hire out some stuff like decorations and things like that. And I sat in this meeting, contributed absolutely nothing to it, because it was all about drapes and flowers and chair sashes, and I ain't got a clue.
No.
And the best thing about it is, Toby, is that when we got to the end, she sent through the quote, and on it, this is how much I contributed to this meeting.
Yeah.
She got my name wrong. So she basically sent to Hazel, she was like, Dear Hazel, it was lovely to meet you and Peter.
Where's that name come from?
Peter.
It's not even close.
It wasn't even close. Daniel, I would have accepted Daniel.
Yeah.
I've forgotten every name beginning with D now. I would have accepted anything, but Peter.
Peter's well off.
There's no difference. I don't even look like a Peter.
No.
It's just, so that's how much I contributed to that meeting. Was
fair enough.
Zero.
Yeah, to be fair, for those, you're just meant to sit there and sort of nod along, and if you say, "Oh, I like that one," and you know, it's not the right one, you know it's not the right one. But yeah, they're very tricky things to get right, because they're small things to get right in a wedding, but they make all the difference.
There's just it's like going back to buying rings and things like that. I just ain't got a clue, mate.
No,
like, it's when they turn around to you and go, "What carrot do you want?" And you're like, roasted.
I'm here to buy a ring, not a vegetable. Like that's like. Sorry, I didn't realise I was at Sainsbury's.
Yeah, it's so true. And but I'm getting through it step by step, and then preparation for the ship. We're going on board P&O again this week, the Iona, which is exciting. So I'll be away for the next 2 weeks. And Toby's going to do a little chat later on the show about how we're going to go with the pod for the next few weeks, because the last time I went on the ship, the podcast went away. Actually, that was your fault. Actually, I blame me for being on the ship. It was you.
How was it me?
Because I was going, how do you think about that, Toby? And for the Spotify listeners going, oh, they cut out. No, that's exactly what the podcast would have been.
I blame your phone. No, do you know who I do blame? The first special guest we ever had on the podcast. The emergency alarm. The emergency alarm. It jinxed the podcast.
It did. It's the podcast that will never be. But
Yeah.
literally, we sat down to do a podcast. And I was like, that's the time I can do. That's the time Toby can do. We sat down. We clicked record. And no, before we clicked record, the alarm just went off.
Yeah.
And we went, oh no, they're doing an emergency drill.
So we just waited. Saw it out. But no.
But
dear.
yeah, no, it's been good. Anyway, let's chat about what we're going to be doing today on this podcast.
Yeah.
I dropped it in last minute to Toby on the last podcast, but we are doing a Q and A. Come on!
Or I think we should call it, because we've pitched this idea before and we've done it in a podcast before. Maybe we call this the Ask a Mate episode.
And Ask a Mate. I'm in.
The Ask a Mate episode.
It makes it more formal. So we basically we put out to you guys out there, the followers that be, on Instagram and Facebook. We've put out a poll where you can ask us questions, and we have had some really good questions back.
Really good.
So in this episode, I don't think we'll get through them all because it will be a long episode otherwise.
Yeah.
But we'll go through as many as we possibly can.
Yes.
So if we don't answer your questions in this episode, then keep following, keep watching.
Yeah.
Because we'll bring the Ask a Mate section back into the podcast and answer them in the future.
Yes.
But I have some beautiful questions, Toby. Well, I put them all down. Actually, Toby will know this. In my...
Yeah, there it is. So for those listening, it's a Sabrina Carpenter notebook. And it says Sweet Ideas, which I got David... when I went to watch him in the Animal Guy show at Butlins.
There's a bigger story to that though, Toby.
Yes. Which I have forgotten, I'm not going to lie. So I'll let you tell it.
Because I thought I had it.
Oh, yeah. So the story behind that is David had to pack everything away after the show. And left it on the table after I'd given it to him. We were like, okay, clearly he cares about this notebook. And I turned around because I was with Hazel and Grace and everyone at the time. And I was like, shall I just pick it up and hide it? And they were like, yeah, make him think that he's got it. So we went and met after the show. And I went, oh, David, have you got your notebook? And then you thought Hazel had it, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then Hazel was like, oh, I haven't got it. And you were like, oh, I must have left it somewhere, like on the table or backstage. And then I had it in my jacket. So I pulled it out of my jacket and went, you've forgotten this? Oh, it's just... Your face dropped,
I put it in my bag. I was like, I must have put it in my bag, but I must have done. But it's a lovely book, Sabrina, the queen that she is. So I wrote all the questions for that we got in here. So,
nice.
Anyway, let's stop rambling on. Let's go into question number 1. So this is one, as anyone knows, me and Toby are massive Marvel fans. So this is one for the Marvel. Actually, do you know what? I watched that Wonder Man series. Really good.
Good, isn't it? Really good. They've confirmed season 2 as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, great series. Really, really enjoy it.
From an actor's perspective as well, like watching it, I was like callbacks and auditions and things like that. You just go, oh my gosh, those days were just the hardest thing. But actually, we've got a question about that anyway, so we'll move on. So this question is about the film coming out later this year, Avengers Doomsday, which is the big Marvel franchise film. And we got a question in from Jacob who says, what do you think about Avengers Doomsday, and do you think it's going to be a mess or a success? Now, Toby, I've got opinions on it. Like, obviously, from the context of maybe people that don't listen to Marvel, it's the end of this process of films in whatever phase we're in now of Marvel films. And it's a film tailored around the enemy that is Doctor Doom, who has still not been shown on camera yet, but is going to be played by Robert Downey Jr. And it's basically universes multiverses are collapsing in on each other.
Yeah.
And we still don't know really what the storyline's going to be, but what we've seen is a huge amount of casting, big names. Chris Evans is back. Chris Hemsworth is back.
Yeah.
Everyone is in this film, and there's potentially even more. So that's why I think the thing is going to be, is it going to be a mess or is it going to be a success? What's your immediate thinkings on that?
In my opinion, I think they've got a lot to cover in in that film. So whether that film's used to set something up for then, because they've got Secret Wars coming afterwards, whether that's the big thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I've got high hopes for it. I think it's going to be a great film. I just hope they don't make it a cameo fest, where they try and put as many people in the film as possible, and then it happens that it just becomes 3 hours or 2.5 hours of different people meeting and not meeting and things like that. What I'd rather happen, and this might be a bit of an odd one, is for them to get rid of the original lot early on.
Right.
Like, you've got Chris Hemsworth in there as Thor, and they've confirmed that Chris Evans is coming back for it. Mm-hmm. But whether they meet Doom and think it's Tony Stark and then Doom gets rid of them early on, I'm not sure, really.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one. I think my problem isn't really with all the cameos in it as much. My problem is that, and this is down to, I think, the storylines before. There hasn't been a lot of setup to this movie, and with obviously going up, because this is basically Doomsday and a year later Secret Wars, and this is basically Infinity War into Endgame. That's the premises of what it is. And before Infinity War, the film was set up perfectly for those movies to be the success that they were. Whereas at the moment, again, like, there's been references to Doom, but there's not really been anything that's built him up like Thanos as a villain. And I think the problem is that obviously halfway through, John Majors.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Kang, which obviously they moved away from. It was going to be Kang, so halfway through they had to move away and change it to Doom. But my problem is that the setup for the film isn't as what it should be. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited for the movie, but I'm excited again more because of the names in it rather than the story that it actually is.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think, I don't know whether the Russo brothers, and for those who don't know, the Russo brothers are the guys that are writing and directing it, whether they don't want what happens in the film to be that much involved with what's happened too much before. So obviously we've had like Ant-Man Quantumania and things like that. I don't think that they've thought, right, we just want fans to kind of forget that, or forget that certain films ever happened or certain things ever happened. And I think they've kind of wanted to start afresh and gone, right, we're going to come in at this. Because I think the major thing that gives me that vibe is they released those clips around the Super Bowl time, I think.
Yeah.
And then they released one clip, I think it was the Black Panther one, and it says, what we've shown you is not trailers, what we've shown you is stories. So they are kind of telling stories leading up to the film, because what's come before isn't what they want to do. I think they'll heavily lean into Loki. I've heard lots of rumours, and this is rumours. This isn't me going, this is what's going to happen. This is just what I've heard. Is that obviously Doom has the first thing we saw of him was in Fantastic Four, but we never saw his face.
No.
But we know that is it Franklin Richards, the child?
Yeah.
He can travel dimensions and things like that. The rumour is that he's using him to get to Loki, so Doom can control the multiverse. That Thor is then going to come to rescue Loki, and that's when that happens. Mm-hmm. I just think there's just going to be a massive thing going on, and I'm not too sure what to make of it yet. Until I see a definitive trailer, I don't know, because I think the only film we've got between now and then is Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Which looks dark.
So good. But I don't think that has anything to do with it, because he's not been confirmed in Doomsday. Apparently he's in Secret Wars,
the problem with that is as well,
Doomsday.
Toby, is that originally that was meant to be released after because Doomsday was meant to be released in May. So it was released and then it's been delayed. So
Yeah.
Doomsday should have been in May, Spider-Man July, and then Secret Wars in July next year.
Yeah.
And they pushed it all back. So from that perspective, I don't think unless they've changed anything last minute to equip to that, I
Yeah.
don't think Spider-Man has anything to do with Doomsday. I think it'll be more Secret Wars.
Yeah. So, but yeah, in answer to the question, so just moving it all back round, I don't think it'll be a mess. I think it'll be a very good film. I think fans are a bit worried that it's going to seem quite rushed and not linear in terms of the films that have already come out.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will be. We said this before about many other films, and I think the Russo brothers never usually miss. And I think if it was anyone else in charge of this movie, I would agree that it could potentially be dropped into a mess. But the Russo brothers know what they're doing, and I think
Exactly.
they will be fine. And so I'm excited for the movie. But yeah, I agree that I can understand some people believing it could be a mess, but I'm excited regardless.
Yeah.
Next question. Let's do a little bit something about us. And
Go on,
that
then.
is from Molly, who sent this question in. And she has asked, how did you two become Redcoats?
Oh, great question.
It's a great
Thanks, Molly, for the question. Really good question, that one.
I'll take the lead on this one, and then I'll
Yeah,
allow
you go first.
to take over. My story was I was performing for a couple of years after drama school, and I never really considered the fact of doing holiday parks. It never really was something I wanted to do. I trained in musical theatre, and that was the world I wanted to be in. And then COVID hit and wiped everything out, so I went and worked in another job. Wasn't a big fan of the job and was just like, I just want to get out. Like, this isn't for me. I just want to get out because I'm not happy. And it's one of those things where I always sit there and say, if the alarm clock goes off and you're upset about it going off for other than the reason that you're tired, probably shouldn't be doing that job. And that was what hit me more than ever.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, let's just get out. Let's just get out now. And I was like, I don't care really what I go for. So, and then funny enough, that day, Butlins came up on my timeline. I can't remember if it was Instagram or Facebook, one of those. And it was like Redcoat auditions. So I sent an email in and just went, oh yeah, I'll go for that. Sent an email in and went, blah, blah, blah. I want to work as a Redcoat at Butlins. I've heard lots of stuff about Butlins. But I never really went to Butlins as a kid. I know you might have done, but I remember going once for a day out, but never like as a kid for a holiday or anything like that. I didn't even know like anything about Billy Bear or anything like that. And I went along to the audition, and one of the things they ask is, what is great about Butlins? What is Butlins to you? And obviously for me, I was like, I don't really know a lot about Butlins. So I just sort of went up to Holiday Park, like there's great stuff that they offer, entertainment value. Obviously the restaurant, I was literally just remembering what I was seeing as I walked through the resort.
Yeah.
To put it into that thing. And then we got through the whole day. Again, as you probably will, we're not going to disclose anything about the audition process because that's for people to go and do that on their own back. You get through the whole day. It's a long day. It's a tiring day. And I got the job. And again, in my head, I was like, right, I'll be there 3 months and I'm gone.
Yeah.
And I'll move on and go to wherever. Little did I know how much I actually fall in love with that job. And the beauty, and I know you'll probably say the same thing again, the beauty of doing a job where you don't have to put anything on. You are you. Like, there's customer service to an extent, but it's just you being you as a Red. And the fact that everyone is coming up to you wanting pictures and you're just sitting there going, I'm not a celebrity. I've literally just gone upstairs, put the red coat on, come downstairs. And you get kids and people coming up to you going, red coats! And this is what I say to everyone who's a red coat at the moment. It's the best job in the world to just learn your trade, learn your skills, and be you. Like, you'll never have a more fun job in sense of allowing yourself to be you fully and having fun with it. It's just every opportunity you get, and like, not even just disclosing everything, but I got one of my best mates, I met my future, I met my future wife. I got my future employees, and that's just from being in there. That's not even including the amazing opportunities of working with Mulhern and Stephen Mulhern and people like that. It's incredible. But yeah, it was just off the bat, really, for me.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, mine was a bit of a different one, to be honest. So my university journey got cut ever so short because of COVID. But before I finished, there was loads of like audition prep and get your name out there, and they were really like, now's the time to start looking and getting your name in the door of places if you want to go to drama school or if you want to go do different things. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to audition for holiday parks and just see what happens. So I auditioned for Butlins, obviously. I auditioned for Haven, and those were the two that I mainly auditioned for.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you said, we're not going to disclose the whole audition process, and because our process might be different to yours, and we don't want to tell you what happened for us because it might be very different to what someone else goes through. But I got through the whole day on the first go, and I was like, I can't start till September because I've got university commitments. And they were like, okay. And then I got put on something called a reserve list. So that's if there's any jobs coming further down the line, we'll give you a call, which I was beyond excited about. I was like, great, so happy. And the same with Haven. They were like, we want someone to start now, but we'll put you on a list and contact us once you finish university. Mm-hmm. And then obviously COVID hit, and it was like, oh, what am I going to do now? So obviously I went back home. I had like little pub job while that was going on when everything started to open back up again. And I got about a month into it, and I was like, I kind of want to sort of get back to what I love. So that's when I left, and I got back into Ents, and I didn't go to Butlins straight away. I did Haven and John Fowler's. So I started to get more of my trade in the industry before getting to the end of my John Fowler's career and going, I think I'm ready to take that next step up now, which is when I auditioned for the second time. And so I did the whole day again. And then obviously this time I got the job and then started the job at the same time as David. So for me, it was very much like I knew what I wanted to do when I left uni and be an entertainer. And I got the skills of working at Haven and John Fowler's and sort of learning the trade, and then working my way up to Butlins because, you know, holiday park, the UK holiday park scene is massive. Like the standard of it, like we know all across the board, is massive. And to work for a company like Butlins, which has been going for years and years, like 90 years this year.
90 years, man. Mental.
It's crazy. And to say that we've been part of that is ridiculous. Because, like you've said, we've met best mates, we've met our future wives there. You know, the amount of opportunity that that's given us is crazy. So,
what would be your biggest? I mean, because there will be people. We know that there are people listening that have seen us at Butlins that are wanting to go on to become future Redcoats.
Yeah.
What would be your biggest advice for someone? Say they get the job and how to be a Redcoat.
How to be a Redcoat. My advice would be yourself. And it sounds really silly and really like, oh, just be yourself, just a typical one. But the people that saw you in the audition, that interviewed you, have hired you for a reason. And that is, and like I said, not discussing what goes on, but there's a lot of just generic talking. Like, and they've hired you for you. They've not. Yeah. They've hired because of your personality. Like, that is what. And I think a lot of people come to Butlins, and like you said, we're just ourselves. But we go down, and people are wanting to speak to us all the time, take pictures, and you know, I loved that. Like, I remember a time when we were doing New Year's together, and beautiful. And we had guests coming up to being like, oh, can we have a picture, please? And it literally all the time, like, made our days when because not gonna lie, made you feel like a bit of a celebrity, didn't it? But we're just like,
yeah.
But you're just like, we're Toby and David. Like, we're not we're not celebrities. We're just us, like, and we're just being us. And so that's the biggest thing is just like be yourself, and it's not a competition to be the best, but if you're the best version of yourself, that's all you can be, really. That's
It's learning off. I think it's learning off everyone else as well. Like as I said,
yeah,
I've said before, like you were a big advocate for me getting better because you were at that level, and like I'll never forget when we were rehearsing for like a show in Reds, and you came out and did your set list to just us. And I remember sitting there going, "Oh my gosh! Like this is nothing like I would have done. Like the way like there was no crowd there, but you were like working it. And it
yeah,
was like, oh my word! You have to like. That sounds really crazy, but yeah, I have to hype them up as well during singing. Like it's no
yeah,
good. This isn't a place to walk on stage and just sing your songs.
yeah,
It's working the crowd and learning what to get them involved and what they want
yeah,
and that sort of thing. And that was a big thing for me. And just do you know what another thing is as well, just enjoying the life that you have, and that's what I
yeah,
mean. And I think there's so many different things like being on different shifts with different people, like I always found the camaraderie in the evening was so good
yeah,
because you'd have like gaps between shows if you were on doors for like centre stage or whatever, and it would be okay. Into that gap, let's go to Reds, and you'd go into Reds and you'd join in on a party dance. You'd go to studio and you'd join in on a show. You go into Skyline and what. There was red coats everywhere, and
yeah,
everywhere you went, and every one of your mates and that kind of thing, and it was a beautiful thing of improvisation of being like, right, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to, even though I'm not meant to be on this shift, like I've got a gap, I'm going to go and take it and
yeah,
enhance the entertainment. So yeah, and again, like I think just be you because that's what they want. And it's the only job you'll ever get the real opportunity to be you as a person, and people buy into that, and it's beautiful.
yeah, and definitely take every opportunity, like however small it might be, take that opportunity because you never know where it will take you. Like if if something is offered, take it. Like
Yeah, DJing, mate. Like I couldn't go and DJ in Ibiza, but if someone gave me a memory stick and whacked it in a DJ set, I could
yeah,
play a whole night set, and that's something I never even thought I could ever do. So
no,
that's something on its own, the skills you pick up,
yeah,
and so beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, while we're at the sort of entertainment end of the questions,
Love it.
I've got one here that I think might be quite nice to move on to. So this is from my mum. So Katie, hello.
Hey,
Hi, Katie. So this is from my
Katie!
mum, and she's asked a very, very good question. And it's the funniest thing an audience member or child has ever said to you during our entertainment jobs.
Oh my word! That's a
So
great question.
it is a really great question, and I'll let you answer this one first, or do you want me to give you a little bit of time?
No, I think I've got one. Do you know what? I've got one from when I worked on Disney, and it's a brilliant story. So this is just one in particular. So I was working in the kids club,
Yeah,
and it was a Star Wars program, and there was an act on in the theatre, and he was called, I think he was called Kid Ace, and he was a magician. He was very, very good, but he used to have like these little jokes that like go over the head of kids.
yeah,
But in this kids club activity, we had where we would meet BB-8, and it was
nice.
really cool. BB-8 would come down, and the kids would all be like, "Oh, it's BB-8," and he'd be like, "Yeah, hello BB-8," blah blah blah. And I was sitting there, and we would go, "Right, anyone got any questions for BB-8?" And then they turned to BB-8, and this kid, it was so good. He turned around and he asked, he was like, "Is BB-8 happy or is he married?" And it was sensational. And I had to keep
That's
the straight.
hilarious.
It's so good. And I had to keep the straightest face. And I was like, no, I think BB-8's all right. Because obviously, this kid Ace would like get kids up onto the stage, and
Yeah,
like for his show, and he'd always go, are you happy or are you married? And like, so this kid had obviously taken that, and he
Yeah.
was like, oh, I'll ask BB-8, is he happy or is he married? And it was, it's sensational. Such a good question.
Oh.
I think, when you do entertainment, you get loads of people that shout out and things,
Yeah.
and do you know what? That's the beauty of people, is that when you do live entertainment, you never know what you're going to get and things like that. And
Yeah.
you just have an idea and it just pops in your head. And it's things like we've been working in Reds before, when we've had someone who's dressed as the Minions. Like, I'll get them up on the stage and go like, right, for Bingo Bango, I think it was. It's like,
Yeah.
right, you're gonna say, tonight we steal the moon, and you're going to get the crowd going, and then like the happiest family wins a T-shirt. But it's things like that where you get a bloke on the stage, you're like, yes, come. But
Yeah.
I think that BB-8 line sits high.
Yeah, I think for me, it's always when you get that one person that you can see isn't really invested at the beginning, and then grows to get really invested, and then just too overly invested. Like you said about like when you get people up in bingo and things like that, and like you'd see that person, it's always the same generic person that is there for the kids and not really for them. And then you see them sat there and going, but then you're like, no, I want you to get involved now. And I feel like you will get involved. And then by the end of it, like, we get them up for bingo, and they're like doing the worm on the stage. And I think those little moments are probably the funny thing. Not what they've said, but what they do is when they get involved, they don't go half-heartedly. They go 100% or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably the funniest thing.
Yeah, I would. Another one as well is I worked out in America with Disney, and so you meet a lot of American people, and obviously the language. I know people say the language barrier, but the difference in American language and English language is crazy. So it would be like, I remember. So basically, we did a game show where we had these whiteboards.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a pen and a rubber. Well, we call it a rubber. And I had this big bloke up there. He was huge, big muscles, that kind of thing. Vest, T-shirt, the lot.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I was just, so they're writing answers and things like that for like a round of a quiz. And I turned around and I was like, right, okay, well done, everybody. If you could just rub that out, sir. And he looked at me. He was like, I was like, just rub it out, just rub it out. And he was like, but just rub out your answers. And he looked at me and he was like that. And then my boss was at the back of the room, and so at the end of the game show, and everyone was laughing at this point, I was like, what am I saying that's so funny?
Yeah.
And so I get to the end, and the game show goes, oh well, blah blah blah, no hiccup or anything. And I went over and my boss was like, good show, David, good show. Just got a little bit of tip for you. Don't say rub it out, say erase your answers. And I went, why? And I was like, I wondered why he was looking at me in a funny way. And he said, and I'm not going to turn the podcast into crude, but it was like, he said, rub it out means a very different thing. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, oh no. I was like, oh no.
Yeah,
So
we'll leave it at
one.
that, because I think otherwise we'll have to put that little E icon on Spotify.
yeah. We'll leave it for everything. But yeah, but that's the thing. But like with audio, it's just beautiful. When you get a guest, as you said, that is just up for it, just makes your life so much better as a performer.
Yeah, definitely. Oh dear. Right, on to a next one then.
I'm in.
Have we got time for another question? Do you want to take one away? You do
I'll
one?
take one away. Shall we? Let's have a look at what we've got, because we've got a few, and I'm trying to think of what the best one would be. Do you know what? As we have spoke a bit about weddings, let's throw the wedding question in. And this is from Sean, who I used to work with. And he says, how are you finding the wedding preparations as a groom? Ooh. Right. Do you know what? It's that stereotypical question where I think sometimes the poor grooms get a bit of backlash, don't they?
Yeah.
Where they go, you've just turned up on the day, you don't really know what you've done. But there is a lot more to it. And do you know what I think as well? That your wedding is your wedding day, and it's everything that you want it to be, and you'll plan it the way you want it to, and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But even if you want to just basically get married, you just go, we just want to get married. Getting that is there's still so much that goes into it. Invites are my bugbear, mate. The invites were just like sorting them out were the hardest things, because like stamps, and it costs so much money and everything.
Yeah.
But it's fun, but you'll get a nod from your missus every now and then where when you'll say an idea and they'll go, yeah, and you go, well, that's a no. I'll stop pushing that.
We'll put
idea.
that in the parking spot and that'll stay there. Yeah, no, that's the thing. Yeah, do you know what? It's been an interesting one, really. I think, like you said, there's a lot more to it than you'd think. It's the little things that you're like, oh, so we've got to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that's been the most. I wouldn't say it's been stressful, because I think I've got a fiance that's very well organised. So hats off to Grace. She's doing a lot of organising for it. And so, I mean, I say I'm not feeling stressed, but just because I'm not, because to be fair, we've got a lot organised already. But no, it's been going really well. Like you said, there's a lot of little bits to do still. And
I think the one thing I would say, and in advice for people who do it in the future, I would say, and I don't know whether you did, but know what your budget is. Because we sort of just went in for it and just went, we know roughly what we want to spend, but we didn't have like a figure. And then you start like paying for this and paying for that and paying for this and paying for that. And everything that we've bought is essential. Like everything is what we need. But I think if you went to me and said, how much have you spent on your wedding? If you took the venue and the hire out for just getting married, I haven't got a clue. And that's where I think the difference is knowing what your budget is, how much you can afford, and knowing where to cap and what to cap and things like that. Because we're just going to go, way, and then
No, the thing is, I quite love a spreadsheet. I found spreadsheets very useful over this planning period. So yeah, I've been using spreadsheets just to keep an eye on things. But I'm going to say I've not touched that spreadsheet in months. So I've just gone, we'll leave that to the side for a minute and we'll just enjoy what we've got. But no, because we've got, it's nearly 4 months till ours.
Coming up, mate, coming up.
And then almost 5 till yours.
Yeah, nearly. It's feeling it.
Crazy.
It's stag do's and everything. It's just like planning.
Yeah.
Like your stag and everything to make sure that's all good. And so I've been planning Toby's stag do as well. Got a great plan for it as well. Honestly, I can't wait to do that. But
and then I'm excited to go on yours. Yeah.
Allow your missus to just be happy, and then I think the rest of it. Do you know what it is? As a groom, take the jobs you get given and do a good job with them.
Yeah. And if you get asked to do it, don't be like, I'll do it in 5 minutes. Do it straight away.
Yeah.
So you get asked to look for something, do it there.
And don't get offended easily, because you will contribute to things, and there will be times where the contribution will be looked at as like, well done.
Yeah.
And it's not good enough. And just go, okay, sorry.
Fair enough.
Don't be offended by it, because that's when things...
That is when things... Yeah.
But yeah, that's all the questions we've got. We've got so many more questions to ask, but we will do them in Ask a Mates over the next few weeks. But thank you so much to everyone who sent us in a question, and that was really fun. I enjoyed that.
That was fun.
So much more we can answer, but we will leave that for future episodes.
Yes, because as you may have guessed, me and David love a good waffle.
Love a waffle.
I feel like we answered about 4 questions, but we went into
all
so
very
much
important
detail.
questions.
They're very important. But some exciting things. Just to finish round up, I think.
Yeah,
I think we'll end on some exciting news. So, like we said, you're going away for work for the next 2 weeks. We'll try again to record a podcast together whilst David is out there. But do not worry, we have a backup plan if we can't. So I'm planning on doing a mates on the move over Easter.
Yeah.
As I have the time. I'm going to put a poll, or not a poll, a ask box, question box on Instagram and Facebook about give me suggestions. Where do you want me to go? And David is going to set challenges for where I go. So they'll still involve David. He'll send little videos and clips, or he'll text me messages, and we'll do things like that. Or if there's anything you guys would want me to try or challenge while I'm doing a mate on the move, we'll do that as well. Also, we have some very exciting things coming to the podcast. I'm literally looking at them right now. However, we will reveal all on Sunday on our Facebook and Instagram. So if you are not liking and following already, go ahead and do like that. Or it'll also be live on our TikTok. So go ahead and follow our TikTok as well. And just last little bits of admin. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. All episodes are there. Follow along on Spotify, as we're also on there. Hello to the Spotify listeners. And I only found out today that you can leave feedback on Spotify. You can leave a star rating.
Have we got star ratings?
No. This is why I'm doing this.
We've not got one review.
It improves the pod massively. If you've listened on Spotify, or you are listening on Spotify and you enjoyed it so far, please give us a star rating, and it helps in the long run. We're really trying to increase this pod. Like, we love doing it. Not gonna lie, it's a lovely way for us to catch up every week. We love just chatting, loads of banter, loads of laughs, and we love having you guys along on the ride for it too. So yeah, just leave us a little star rating on Spotify and a little bit of lovely little feedback, as we will take on any feedback, as no feedback is bad feedback.
I
always say.
Unless you're on stage with a microphone, then it is bad feedback.
Oh God! Oh, there here comes that joke.
Oh my word!
Oh, haven't we heard that multiple times?
Oh, so many times. Right, too loud.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. Always hit the like and subscribe button. It's been another beautiful podcast this week. I think we will leave that there. And I will see. Hopefully we will see you next week. If not, you'll see Toby on an adventure. You will see that again in the future, but it'll be as a podcast rather than a future episode. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that's all we got for today. And we will see you on the next video of two mates and a mic. Toby, enjoy your half term, mate. You fully deserve it, man.
Will do. Have a lovely cruise, mate, and enjoy.
Come on. See you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.